Extinction isn't just about dinosaurs and dodos. It's not some distant historical event. It's happening right now in our lifetime. What do a river monster that survived, the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs, a frog the color of a ruby, and a bird so secretive it vanished before we even really knew it? What do they all have in common? They were all officially wiped from our planet while we weren't looking. These aren't mythical creatures. These are animals that scientists have just declared extinct, and the reasons why might just change how you see the world. When an animal is declared extinct, it's not a sudden thing, it's a quiet, final confirmation of a tragedy that's often been unfolding for decades. The International Union for Conservation of Nature, or IUCN, is the organization that makes these calls. They only do it after exhaustive surveys fail to find a single living individual. It's a formal admission that we've failed. Right now, more than 42,000 species are threatened with extinction. That's over a quarter of all species the IUCN has even assessed. But today we're not talking about the ones at risk. We're talking about the ones that have already crossed the point of no return. We're opening the extinction files to uncover the stories of these incredible creatures and expose the shocking reasons we'll never see them again. Our first case file belongs to a creature of almost mythical size: the Chinese paddlefish. Try to imagine a fish that could grow up to 23 feet long, a true river giant with a snout shaped like a sword. This wasn't some new species. The Chinese paddlefish had been swimming in China's Yangtze River for 200 million years. It swam with dinosaurs and survived the mass extinction that wiped them out. This was an ancient, resilient lineage that had seen ice ages and planetary shifts come and go, but it couldn't survive us. So what happened? For centuries, the paddlefish was part of the river's ecosystem and a food source, with people harvesting up to 25 tons a year by the 1970s. But this overfishing was just the start. The real death blow came from our attempts to tame the river itself. In 1981, the Gajuba Dam was built. This massive structure basically sliced the Yangtze in two, cutting the paddlefish population off from their spawning grounds upstream. The adults just couldn't migrate to reproduce anymore. By 1993, the species was considered functionally extinct, meaning there weren't enough of them left to have a future. The last confirmed sighting of a living Chinese paddlefish was in 2003. Scientists launched massive years-long surveys desperately hoping to find a survivor. They found 332 other fish species, but not a single paddlefish. Finally, after years of silence, the IUCN officially declared the Chinese paddlefish extinct in 2022. An animal that survived 200 million years of Earth's history was wiped out in just a few decades of human activity. Its extinction is a devastating lesson. Even the most ancient and seemingly invincible species can be erased when we break their home apart. From a river giant, we go to a tiny, vibrant jewel. The splendid poison frog was a stunningly beautiful creature, famous for its brilliant red color. Like other poison dart frogs, that vivid color wasn't just for show. It was a warning to predators that its skin was toxic. It was only found in a small, humid stretch of forest on the mountains of western Panama, a living gem. For a while, the splendid poison frog was common in its little slice of the world, but then it just started disappearing. What went wrong? The story of its extinction is a tragic collision of two of the biggest threats facing wildlife today. First, its beauty made it a hot commodity in the international pet trade. Poaching for this illegal market put huge pressure on its population. One of the last times the species was ever documented, in 1992, was tragically related to its capture for the pet trade. But an even deadlier killer was spreading silently through the forests, the chytrid fungus. This pathogen, which scientists call Batrachochytrium dendrobatidis, attacks an amphibian's skin and messes with its ability to absorb water and electrolytes. It's been responsible for devastating declines in over 500 amphibian species around the world. The fungus swept through Panama in the mid-1990s, just a few years after the last confirmed sighting of the splendid poison frog. Despite countless searches over the next few decades, no more splendid poison frogs were ever found. Its habitat had been shrunk by deforestation, the pet trade had plundered its numbers, and a global amphibian pandemic delivered the final fatal blow. In 2020, the IUCN officially declared the splendid poison frog extinct. Some animals are lost before we even have a chance to properly find them. This is the strange, sad story of the cryptic tree hunter. As its name suggests, this was a very elusive bird. It was a small, plain brown bird with a heavy dagger-like bill, living deep inside the humid, mossy Atlantic forest in a tiny part of northeastern Brazil. This forest is a biodiversity hotspot, but it's been torn apart by human activity. The story of the cryptic tree hunter's discovery is tangled up with its extinction. For years, the only proof it even existed was a single specimen collected back in 1986, which was mistaken for another species. It wasn't until scientists took a closer look years later that they realized they had a whole new species on their hands. It was formally described and named in 2014. But here's the shocking part. The last confirmed time a cryptic tree hunter was seen in the wild was in 2007. This means the bird was likely already extinct or right on the edge by the time science officially knew it existed. Think about that. A unique species lived, evolved, and was erased from the planet without us even knowing it was there. The reason for its extinction is tragically simple. Complete and total habitat destruction. Brazil's Atlantic forest has been relentlessly cleared for logging, sugarcane plantations, and cattle ranches. The tree hunter's tiny home, even in what were supposed to be protected areas, was chopped up and destroyed. The little patches of forest left were too small and too isolated to support them. In 2019, with no sightings in over a decade and its habitat gone, the IUCN declared the cryptic tree hunter extinct. It's a ghost species, a reminder that we're not just losing the animals we know, but also the ones we haven't even had the chance to meet. Our final file takes us back to the world of amphibians, with the Chiriqui harlequin frog. This brightly colored frog, native to the mountain streams of Costa Rica and Panama, was another victim of the deadly chytrid fungus. Last seen in the wild in 1996, it was officially declared extinct in 2020. Its story reveals a terrifying reality. Everything in an ecosystem is connected, and losing one small creature can have unexpected and dangerous results. Like the splendid poison frog, the Chiriqui harlequin frog was wiped out by the fungal pandemic that tore through amphibian populations in Latin America. This disease has been called the single most destructive pathogen for biodiversity ever recorded, but the extinction of these frogs didn't just leave a void in the ecosystem. It had a direct and alarming impact on human health. A groundbreaking study linked the mass die-off of amphibians in Costa Rica and Panama to a spike in malaria cases that followed. Frogs and salamanders are relentless predators of insects, with some eating hundreds of mosquito eggs every single day. When the frogs vanished, mosquito populations exploded, and so did the transmission of malaria. At its peak, the study found that in areas where amphibians had disappeared, there was an increase of up to 1.1 additional malaria cases per 1,000 people each year. A direct health crisis set off by an ecological collapse. The disappearance of the Cherokee harlequin frog is a stark warning. It shows that the health of our environment and our own health are fundamentally linked. The stories of the Chinese paddlefish, the splendid poison frog, the cryptic tree hunter, and the Cherokee harlequin frog aren't just isolated incidents. They're symptoms of a much bigger crisis. Scientists are warning that we are living through the planet's sixth mass extinction, an event driven almost entirely by human activity. It's a storm of our own making, fueled by habitat destruction, climate change, pollution, and the spread of invasive species and diseases. It's easy to feel helpless when you hear about such enormous loss. It's easy to think of extinction as some far-off abstract idea. But these animals were real. They were unique, irreplaceable parts of life's fabric. The Chinese paddlefish was an evolutionary masterpiece that outlasted the dinosaurs. The splendid poison frog was a living work of art. The cryptic tree hunter was a mystery we never got to solve. The Cherokee harlequin frog was a tiny vital guardian against disease. Each loss makes our world a little smaller. It unravels the complex webs that clean our air, purify our water, and sustain our own lives. The files we've opened today are officially closed. These species are gone forever, but hundreds of thousands more are on the brink. Their files are still open. Their stories aren't finished yet. And we get a say in how they end. This isn't just about saving animals. It's about saving ourselves. The health of our planet is the health of our society. The loss of a frog in Panama can lead to a health crisis. The destruction of a river's flow can erase a 200-million-year-old lineage. Everything is connected, so what can you do? It starts with awareness. Share this video. Talk about this with your friends and family. Support organizations on the front lines of conservation, the ones fighting to protect habitats and save species. Make conscious choices as a consumer to lower your own environmental footprint. The fight against extinction isn't hopeless, but it needs all of us. Let's not let any more of these incredible creatures disappear right under our noses. Their future and ours depends on it. Thanks for watching. If you want to learn more about the fight to protect biodiversity, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We'll see you in the next one.